Iowa traveler Carrie J. Hahn visits Dan Coffey's radio comedy class.
We can only wonder. And if you've just tuned in, you're listening to Elvis Talk. Call us locally at 555-KING, or that's 1-800-HUH-HUH.
Elvis Talk is just the latest of dozens of radio sketches heard on campus station KRUI, written by students enrolled in this semester's radio writing course.
Some guy came into Arnold's Pizza the other day and ordered 57 peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Fried. Then he shot out our TV. Do you think it was Elvis?
Dan Coffey, also known as Dr. Science and a Duck's Breath comedy member, conducts the course.
They do. They get college credit for this class. It's amazing, but it's a wonderful thing, I think.
Are people born funny, or do you have to learn funny?
No, I think everyone has the capacity. Some people are more repressed than other people, and in fact, those end up being the funniest people in the long run.
Tom Cruise in an Oliver Stone mishap. Born on the 5th of July.
You were just born a day too late.
Professor Dan Coffey says one of the secrets of success in this course is dare to be stupid.
Well, I encourage them to be naturally funny. They have a lot of natural funniness. They just don't have a way to let it out. It's easy. Just act stupid and be willing to be stupid on purpose. And that works.
I've learned that if you want to do comedy, you really have to just get in there and do it. He's not a guy who likes to think a lot about what he's doing.
It's a different way of writing, a different way of thinking, and that, I don't know if I'll use it, but it's been really good, and I think it's helped with my other work as well.
You know, we can always do something and be really extreme about it, and we can always take it back if it doesn't work.
If I'm paying this much money to go to college, I expect some fun, frankly.
Anything else I need to know?
No, I hope they keep offering this class next semester, so I'll have a job then, too.
I'm Carrie J. Hahn, the Iowa traveler at the University of Iowa.
This is WSUI's Afternoon Edition. For today, I'm Dennis Reese, and for the next few minutes, we'll be doing something relatively strange, funny, actually. This is our annual program with Dan Coffey and students from the Advanced Audio class at the University of Iowa. Actually, it should be called Radio Comedy Production or Radio Comedy Writing, taught by Dan Coffey, who's a member of Duck's Breath Mystery Theater, part-time professor at the University of Iowa and Kirkwood. And Dan, welcome back for our
Thanks, Dennis.
Our annual half hour of featuring some of the production done by the students in the Advanced Audio class. Dan, could you just, before we get into some of the comedy produced by the students, just talk a little bit about the class and what it's all about?
Well, it's a class where people come to learn to not only write funny stuff and act funny, but actually we record it and get it played on radio stations such as KRUI, the student radio station, and, thanks to your good graces, WSUI, which reaches all the way to Cedar Rapids, where Michelle's mother's from. So what happens is they do all the work, and I sit around and encourage them. And it's been offered 3 times now. The university finds spare change and gets it together and hires me to teach this one class. They don't call it radio comedy, I think, because too many people would take it if it were called radio comedy. So they call it Advanced Audio Production, and nobody knows about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we hear some of the pieces, I kind of asked you this before when you were in our studio not long ago, but really when you listen to radio today, there isn't a whole lot of comedy on most stations. But are you trying to revive comedy on radio? Is that the purpose here?
Well, I think there's a tremendous desire in the listening public to have it. It's just that nobody's been able to figure out a way to make a living doing it yet. Ray Golding of Bob and Ray just died, so they're probably half of the last remaining radio comedy team in maybe the world or at least the country. And I think that could change. I think somebody could find a way to do what Stan Freberg did or what Monty Python even did on television. They had good albums as well. Harvard Lampoon had or National Lampoon had some good albums. It can be done.
With us today, Dan, are 2 members of your class, Michelle Soner, who is a theater major at the University of Iowa from Cedar Rapids, and Ben DeJean, who hails from Louisville, Kentucky, and an undergraduate communication studies major. So welcome, Michelle and Ben. Why did you take this class? What do you hope to get out of this? Careers in radio or careers in comedy writing, or what exactly? And I don't care who goes first here. You both are close to the mic, so.
I took this class
because, as you said, I'm a theater major, and I feel that I need to learn all aspects of entertainment. And the radio comedy class is wonderful because it gives you the opportunity to be spontaneous and create characters from in a few seconds. And Dan offers wonderful suggestions, so I think it helps me be a better actress, actually.
Ben, I'll ask you briefly the same thing. What have you gotten from the class? And
3 credit hours.
3 credit hours? Well, sure, why not? Are you planning a career in radio or a career in comedy?
No, I want to get into film, actually, but I learn a lot about writing in this class in terms of pacing and structure and when to place things and what kind of characters you should use and things like that. So it's been really helpful in terms of storytelling. So.
Well, let's hear some of the work. Time flies here, and we have to get to some of the pieces. We've got 5 or 6 that we want to feature here on the half hour, and let's start with a piece called Excuses, Excuses, and just a very brief explanation from either one of you two, or Dan.
Okay, this is a skit my brother wrote, which is just a takeoff on a radio talk show, but the guy who does the talk show can't get his act together.
It's time for Excuses, Excuses, the talk show that at least tries to pick up where other shows leave off. And now, live on location is your host, Bill Brandon.
Okay, I don't have a topic or a guest for today, but you just got to hear why. I was driving home to Cedar Rapids last night after the show. You know, the one where Jack Nicholson was supposed to show up, but he didn't because he missed his flight. And I'm driving home thinking of a topic for today's show, and my car breaks down. But luckily, there's a phone nearby, but it's a payphone, see? And I just gave my last dime as alimony to my ex-wife, whom I would have liked to have spent more time with, but you know how it is when you're a radio personality on the road all the time. So here I am, in the middle of nowhere, just thinking of ideas for the next show, and this giant Army helicopter lands right next to my car. And I kid you not, Jim Morrison of The Doors steps out. And I say, Jim, I thought you've been dead all this time. And he says, no, Jimi Hendrix and I just wanted the world to think that so that we could operate the CIA in total secrecy. And I said, no. And he says, yeah. And I get into his helicopter, and we go back to CIA headquarters. Once there, Jim says, I'd like to introduce you to one of my best agents. And he takes me into this room where, and may lightning strike me dead if I'm lying, God is sitting at an office desk. You heard me right, and I'll repeat it again. God is working for Jim Morrison, who is secretly the head of the CIA. And Charo was there, too. And she's not even dead. And that's why I don't have a topic for today's show.
Tune in next week when Bill's scheduled guest will be Morgan Freeman, and hopefully Bill will finally have the best car buys for 1986 on the next Excuses, Excuses.
All right, that was called Excuses, Excuses, produced by Ben DeGene. Ben?
No, that wasn't produced by me. It was produced by Mr. Coffee. It was written by my brother, Hector DeGene. I had absolutely nothing to do with it, actually.
Oh, you did? Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, your brother is Hector DeGene, another student in the class.
Yeah, he's the TV star from when Channel 2 came and interviewed us. So.
Well, let's move along and hear some more. This next bit is produced by Michelle, and it's called Teflon Curtain Resume Service. Just a very brief introduction to this, Michelle, before we hear it.
Well, we wanted to do something with the ousted dictators because we thought it would be funny, and actually it's written by Bob Schulteis and Andy Nelson.
Okay, Bob Schulteis and Andy Nelson are in the class as well. Okay, let's hear it.
Move your feet. Ever since you lose Politburo position, you turn into couch rutabaga.
But what am I to do? There is no good job for deposed dictator.
Today, again, you look at classifieds?
Oh, yes, look. Bookkeeper, secretarial, travel agent. How can down-on-luck dictator turn Cold War skills into free world job?
Serioshka, look.
2 rubles off single-item Domino's pizza?
No, down here.
Oh, Teflon Curtain Resume Service.
That's right. The Berlin Wall has crumbled, revealing not only challenges, but opportunities for the mature former dictator seeking employment. You've amassed a wealth of practical experience.
Yes, I crushed reactionary dissent, imprisoned subversive elements, and shot those who complained about supply of toilet paper.
Strong leadership choices.
Yes, but also, yes, I did make shambles of domestic economy and detained most of population.
Don't be so hard on yourself. We'll help you transform past economic blunders and political oppression into assets, and we'll help you rid your resume of unsightly Marxist jargon.
Babushka!
How did it go?
I am potato frying technician.
Wonderful!
Have a nice day.
The Teflon Curtain Resume Service. Turn your wealth of proletarian experience into transferable currency.
Very good, Michelle. Tell me more about how you went about putting this together. To the listener, all of these probably sound very easy to produce. You just kind of sit down in a studio and it's done in a few minutes. But there's more to it than that, I'm sure.
There's not, because when you're on radio, first of all, it was basically Andy and Bob's writing. I was just fortunate to be in the piece, but it's not easy to do because you prepare. It's not easy to write skits that are funny, and time is also very important. I mean, you have to have it in a certain time frame, or else people get bored listening to it. So we try to keep them as short as possible. It's not easy to be able to, what do I want to say, get a character across on radio because nobody can see you. So that's very important that you are very quick. Since you're not seeing anything visually, you have to be able to, what's the word I want to say?
Keep going real fast.
Your characters.
Tailor your pace to an imaginary audience?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Dr. Cox.
Thanks, Doc.
I was going to say, let's ask Dr. Science. He was right here. Dan, let's talk about length of radio comedy today, because you just mentioned that Ray Goulding died, and I was sitting here thinking of Bob and Ray. Bits or routines that may have gone 5-10 minutes, and they did a series of half-hour radio programs for NPR a few years ago. But on today's radio, a half hour is way too long. Now, your Ask Dr. Science on American Public Radio is 90 seconds, I believe.
You're one of the few people that know that, Dennis, because you're in radio. But yeah, it's very short, and yet that seems long by modern-day standards. 90 seconds is 3 times as long as most things you hear on the radio. Yeah. Most things are 30-second commercials. On television now, they have 15-second commercials. And that's going to be pretty soon the norm, I would imagine. So the national attention span shortens, and the feverish pace of broadcasting increases, and you can get less done. You can accomplish less.
Reminder that this is WSUI's Afternoon Edition, and I'm Dennis Reese, talking today to Dan Coffey, who is Dr. Science, a member of Duck's Breath Mystery Theater, and a part-time professor at the University of Iowa, teaching advanced audio, which really is more about comedy production and comedy writing. And with me in the studio are 2 of the students from this University of Iowa class, Michelle Soner, Ben DeJean, and we're playing some of the comedy routines that the students have been producing this semester. How have the students worked out as far as what they've come up with? Can you compare classes? Are they? I mean, it all depends on, I suppose, the various creative geniuses that you have in the class and what they're producing. But,
it does, but even more than that, it depends on collaboration between them. And what we have to do then is we have to get to a level of intimacy in the class and trust where they're not afraid to look foolish in front of each other. That doesn't come automatically. The first few weeks are kind of stiff because they don't know each other and they are worried about appearing too foolish and extending themselves too much. Now they all are used to each other and don't care anymore.
Now we're all as strange as Dan.
Yeah, and it gets more fun.
And we get on each other's nerves.
Yeah, they have little fights every once in a while, but the small amount of blood splatter on the wall can be cleaned up by maintenance.
Well, speaking of collaboration, I guess the next piece called Elvis Talk was an example of this. A couple of the students worked together on this.
Actually, about 4 of them all got together and wrote this piece, and we have almost everybody in class. Maybe everybody in class has a little, 2-second part in it. It's a talk show on an all-Elvis radio station, and it's, of course, called Elvis Talk.
Hello, you're on the air.
Hi,
I just want to say that when you mix up the word Elvis, you get the word lives. But you can also get the word veils, which is what people wear to funerals. Therefore, I believe Elvis is dead.
That's an interesting point. We've got another caller. Hello.
Listen, I don't want to talk about Elvis being dead or alive. You know, I want to talk about the fall of communism. Do you think it was caused by Elvis somehow?
We can only wonder. And if you just tuned in, you're listening to Elvis Talk. Call us locally at 555-KING, which is 555-5464, or 1-800-484-8484. That's 1-800-HA-HA-HA. Hello, Elvis Talk.
Yeah, some guy came into Arnold's Pizza the other day and ordered 57 peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Fried. And then he shot out on TV. You think it was Elvis?
Well, it's hard to say. We got another caller.
I think mixing up Elvis's given name to find out what he is or isn't is ludicrous. What's important are the backward messages he left in his last few hits. While listening to Suspicious Minds, I discovered that Elvis tells us where he is today. Here, just listen. Did you hear that? I think it's plain as day.
Thanks for calling. Hello, you're on the air.
We were watching an Elvis Film Festival last week on cable, and we have this blender that hadn't worked in ages. And during Blue Hawaii, when Elvis sang, all of a sudden it started whirring. My husband about fell off the divan. We were so happy. We made a batch of Blue Hawaiians.
Well, thanks for the story. Hello, Elvis Talk.
I just want to say that I've been mixing up Elvis's full name as it appears on his gravestone for over 10 years. And I formed the words, lives on as Al Yerper and lives on as Leper Ray.
Amazing. If there's anybody listening who knows of an Al Yerper or of a leper named Ray, please give us a call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, my name is Al Yerper, and I'm sick of all you weirdos bugging me. It's hard enough being Elvis incognito without a bunch of crazies calling me and following me around.
Sorry, Al. Hello, Elvis Talk.
Oh, hello. I'm a leper named Dave, and I know a leper named Ray, and he's not Elvis. In fact, I don't know any lepers who are Elvis, so leave us alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Hello, Elvis Talk.
Hi, I recently purchased a black velvet painting of Elvis on a crucifix, and his eyes follow you wherever you go. Lately, I've noticed that his upper lip seems to quiver, too. Now, is this supposed to do that, or can this be recognized as a miracle by the Catholic Church?
Buddy, you're insane. I think you need some serious medical attention.
What? No, wait a minute. Now, it's I also...
Get the hell off the air. What are you doing?
Well, since time is running short, let's get right to a couple more pieces, Dan. Next, we'll hear Born on the 5th of July and Marlboro Heavies.
Tom Cruise in an Oliver Stone mishap. Born on the 5th of July.
I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yankee Doodle Doodle. You are not. I'm two. Are not. I'm two. Mom, when was I born?
He was born on the 5th of July.
So you think you've got what it takes to be a soldier?
Yes, sir. I'm a real-life nephew of my Uncle Sam.
Really? What's your birth date, son?
July 5th, 1940...
July 5th? I bet the fireworks really went off at your house.
Born on the 5th of July. A movie so powerful, it might turn you away before you reach your seat.
Dad, why couldn't you and Mom have, pushed me out sooner? Just a few hours earlier.
Well, we would have, but we couldn't find an open hospital. What with it being Independence Day and all?
Damn it!
Born on the 5th of July. A motion picture so disturbing, it might overshadow the Vietnam War.
I'm sorry, Ron. I can't love you anymore.
Why? Is it my radical values? My anti-war activities? Is it my hair?
You were just born a day too late.
Damn it!
That's right. Born on the 5th of July. Winner of 7 Academy Awards, including Best Near Miss and Biggest Disaster.
People say, if you don't like this movie, then get the hell out. Well, I like this movie.
Tom Cruise in his most terrific mistake ever captured on film. Born on the 5th of July.
Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going
Rated NT for Nice Try.
After a hard morning of bullfighting and lion taming, I like to kick back with a cigarette that gives me satisfying pleasure, and it keeps me on the brink of disaster. That's why I smoke Marlboro Heavies. Marlboro Heavies have the nicotine, tar, and strychnine I need, plus trace amounts of nitroglycerin, Agent Orange, DDT, arsenic, saccharin, red dye number 2, and uranium-235 that I want. All in a king-size, 100 or 120 straight, or with an asbestos filter. Smoking a Marlboro Heavy cigarette brings back the spirit of the wide-open West, especially the bomb test sites. And every Marlboro Heavy cigarette that I smoke reminds me of what it means to be alive, by almost doing me in. Marlboro Heavies are not recommended for the novice or chain smoker. Each pack comes with a warning from the Surgeon General concerning cigarette smoking and your health. Collect all 3. Well, gotta go wrestle some alligators. Adios, amigos.
Marlboro Heavies, for the smoker who wants more from a cigarette than just lung cancer, heart disease, emphysema, pregnancy complications, chronic cough, bad breath, yellow teeth, etc.
Well, we've just heard actually 2 pieces. They're born on the 5th of July and a great spoof of cigarette ads, Marlboro Heavies. I was just thinking there haven't been cigarette ads on the radio since 1971. In fact, it was New Year's Day in 1971 when the last ones were broadcast.
Well, you know, the guy who wrote that skit was probably born that year. Let's see, if he's 20 years old now. No, he's probably about 19. Yeah, he could have been 1 year old then. That's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Does that mean you're not going to play the skit then if it's about a product they don't play on the radio anymore?
Well, I don't think there's really a Marlboro Heavies available. I don't know. Maybe there is.
There should be. Yeah. For people that really want gravelly voices like...
Dan, how many... This is a class you're teaching advanced audio production here at the University of Iowa. You have 12 students, and it's a class that's been dominated by men students, as I understand it, for a couple of years now. How many are women involved very much in radio comedy writing, and how many women students have you had?
We try to recruit women students, but they say we smell too bad in the small confines of room 355. No, actually, the first 2 times I offered the class, I had 2 female students. Now we have 3, and it gets better. They're not in such a minority. They don't always end up playing the girlfriend, the mom, or the sexy person in a skit. That's been normal in comedy to have that. Saturday Night Live, SCTV, Duck's Breath has no women in it. Monty Python had no women in it. So women have to take charge of this and evolve towards it if they want to be the funny people.
Uh-huh. Michelle, how do you feel about being in the minority in this class?
Well, I think it's wonderful because anytime a part is written for females, us 3 always get the parts, and we always get a lot of work, so I don't mind.
Well, let's hear, we have a few minutes left. Let's hear the cooking show.
Yeah, this is something written by Michelle and Barbara. And what's its actual name, Michelle?
Which one is it?
Elegant Entertaining?
Elegant Entertaining with Ease. Cooking with Jell-O.
Elegant Entertaining with Ease. With Mary Pat and Mary Beth.
Hello and welcome to our kitchen. I'm Mary Pat.
And I'm Mary Beth.
And in case you weren't able to join us yesterday, we're bringing you a new recipe each day. But they're not just any recipes, are they, Mary Beth?
No, they're not, Mary Pat. Each day we'll bring you the elegant, the sophisticated cuisine with Jell-O.
I love Jell-O. It is so colorful.
My husband and Joe love Jell-O. And you know, if you're in a pinch, it makes a great hand lotion.
No, sometimes I just soak my hands in warm Jell-O.
Sometimes you just need to spoil yourself like that. Sometimes I fill my bathtub with Jell-O.
But we need to move on, Mary Beth. Do you know what it's time for today?
I sure do. It's time for our delicious entree. It's an adaptation of Pheasant Under Glass.
Oh, Mary Beth, your husband and Joe went pheasant hunting the other day, didn't they?
They sure did, and they brought back a pheasant.
And that's what made me think of this recipe.
And it sounds yummy.
So let's get those Knox blocks out and get to work. Here's today's recipe.
Start with a large package of lemon Jell-O. Mix according to package directions.
Next, you clean your pheasant and remove its innards.
Fill the inside of the pheasant with your Jell-O and chill until set.
You know, the lemon gives it that great citrus flavor.
And it adds vitamin C. And it's so clever to use the pheasant as a mold.
Mm-hmm. Now, to garnish your pheasant, take red, orange, and green Jell-O and layer the outside of your bird.
You know, this makes it pheasant under stained glass.
Mm-hmm. And here's our finished entree.
Oh, it looks wonderful.
It's cold.
Oh, Mary Beth, were we supposed to cook the pheasant first?
Oh, that's right. Well, that's it for today.
Join us tomorrow. We'll bring you another recipe. And remember, we love you.
You've been listening to Elegant Entertaining with Ease. For a cassette copy of today's recipe, send $69.95 to Pheasant Jell-O Lotion, Post Office Box 36052, Creamy, Idaho.
Good morning and welcome to Book Babble. My guest today is Michael Edwin Olson, here to discuss his soon-to-be-published book, You Could Have Been With Me, Babe.
And then underneath that it'd read, but you're not, so you'll just have to console yourself with the idea that I wouldn't be such a mega success if you hadn't dumped me.
Is that a working title?
I think it works.
Very good. I need to apologize to you, Mr. Olson, for I was unable to read your entire book. I was given only the first chapter.
Well, there's only one chapter on paper so far, but all I need to do is just park myself down for a day or two.
This is an autobiography.
Yeah, it just comes right out and onto the page.
Could you please tell us a little about it?
Yeah, it's about my life and the lovers in my life, but mostly it's about the losers in my life. It goes from my college days and my first experiences with women on up to today and my latest posturepedic partner. That's her over there. Get the camera on her.
This is a radio show.
Too bad. She's more for looking at than listening to. But anyway, I used the real names of my ex-squeezes, but I mixed up the letters to avoid a lawsuit, even though a lawsuit would probably be good publicity.
You used anagrams.
No, anagrams was not one of the names.
No, an anagram is a mixed-up word.
Right, whatever. Anyway, it's not about my career so much. I thought the people would be less interested in the story of my rise to the top than a sort of kiss-off-and-tell book.
Oh, on the contrary, Mr. Olson, I'm sure that there'd be many readers who'd like greater insight into your public life. I, for one, was hoping for a recounting of your ascension to, quote, mega success. In fact, I'm embarrassed to ask this, but I do feel compelled. Mr. Olson, who are you?
No, I'm a published writer.
You have no books listed in the Library of Congress.
I've been published in magazines.
Hustler?
Penthouse.
Letters?
Twice. And I'm doing pretty well financially.
That hardly makes you a mega success.
Oh, yeah? Well, I will be once this book gets published.
It is to be published.
Well, what else would it be for? I just need to find a publisher. And I bet lots of guys would buy this book. And take a look at the hothouse I'm with. Okay, so listeners can't see her, but go ahead, describe her.
She's left, and she took her coat.
Yeah? So what's your point? What, you think she ran out on me? She knows I'd crucify her in my book if she dumped me, and I can get someone else to type it.
Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have. Good day.
Hey, if you're listening, you're chapter 2, babe.
Dan, I wanted to ask you, how do you go about grading these? That's a tough question.
It's whether or not I like the student. It's that simple. No. What I try to do is I try to give them a combination grade that it has to do with how hard they work, how they are at writing, how they are at performance, and how they are at collaboration and attendance. So I have 5 factors that I put in. And it's like any workshop class. You can't really assign a grade the same way you can a multiple choice test type of class, but it can be done.
Mm-hmm. Well, the semester is wrapping up fairly quickly. Michelle and Ben, what are you going to be working on here in the last few weeks of the spring semester in advanced radio production?
Mostly it'll be just kissing up to Dan. That's about it.
Looking for that A, but no, we have what we do is we just throw out topics, and then it's a collaborative process, and everybody takes the topics and we write from that. So we'll see what happens.
Well, very good. Well, I want to thank you all for coming by today. Michelle Soner is a theater major from Cedar Rapids. Ben DeJean, a communication studies major from Louisville, Kentucky. They're both in Dan Coffey's advanced audio class in the Department of Communication Studies at the University of Iowa. Thanks all of you for coming by, and I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us, Dennis.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And this is WSUI's Afternoon Edition. I'm Dennis.
What?
I messed up already. Hold on. I messed. It's the wrong thing. I'm not playing 1 hour to live. This is 5 minutes. It's called Excuses.
You wasted a minute and a half now.
And it's about a talk show host. It's about a talk show host who never gets a guest, and he always makes some stupid excuse.
I can hear that on the air. You know, you're really wasting our time here.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
It's time for Excuses, the talk show that at least tries to pick up where other shows leave off. And now, live on location is your host, Bill Brandon.
Okay, I don't have a topic or a guest for today, but you just got to hear why. I was driving home to Cedar Rapids last night after the show. You know, the one where Jack Nicholson was supposed to show up, but he didn't because he missed his flight. And I'm driving home thinking of a topic for today's show, and my car breaks down. But luckily, there's a phone nearby, but it's a payphone, see? And I just gave my last dime as alimony to my ex-wife, whom I would have liked to have spent more time with, but you know how it is when you're a radio personality on the road all the time. So here I am, in the middle of nowhere, just thinking of ideas for the next show, and this giant Army helicopter lands right next to my car. And I kid you not, Jim Morrison of The Doors steps out. And I say, Jim, I thought you've been dead all this time. And he says, no, Jimi Hendrix and I just wanted the world to think that so that we could operate the CIA in total secrecy. And I said, no. And he says, yeah. And I get into his helicopter and we go back to CIA headquarters. Once there, Jim says, I'd like to introduce you to one of my best agents. And he takes me into this room where, and may lightning strike me dead if I'm lying, God is sitting at an office desk. You heard me right, and I'll repeat it again. God is working for Jim Morrison, who is secretly the head of the CIA. And Charo was there, too. And she's not even dead. And that's why I don't have a topic for today's show.
Tune in next week when Bill's scheduled guest will be Morgan Freeman, and hopefully Bill will finally have the best car buys for 1986 on the next Excuses.
What'd you think?
Well done. It took you like 10 minutes to get it on the air. Okay, so what 5 minutes are you going to do this time?
I'm not sure it's 5 minutes. I might go a little bit over, but I think it's quality entertainment. It's a thing. It's a thing produced by Dan Coffey's radio comedy workshop class.
Okay.
And it's a soap opera called 1 Hour to Live.
Okay.
Anyway, you'll get the idea. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
No setup.
Now, will you please take your telephone and your microphone out of program, because I can hear that through here. Hear that?
What's that? Wait. Okay. Hold on. I only have one thing in program. Wait. Okay. I'm taking the card out of program. All I have is the reel in program. That's it. Oh, the phone. Hold on. Okay.
It's
there,
Einstein.
how's that?
Einstein working the console next door. Okay.
I have a lot of cough syrup. And
right now, you've just wasted 1 minute of your corner.
Okay, I'm going. Here we go.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of Hawkeye Football, coming to you live from Kinnick Stadium, where the Hawkeyes will face the Northwestern Wildcats. I'm Frosted Winchell, along with Jim Sparks, and we'll bring you all the action on the field today.
That's right, Frosted, and today's game is sponsored in part by Meisterbrow, that yummy beer that just makes me feel tingly all over.
And there's the kickoff to the Wildcats. Hawkeye Johnson runs and tackles Wildcat Bronkowitz on the 50-yard line. And a reminder, sports fans, that the first quarter comes to us today courtesy of Amana Milk, the only milk with an Amish moo.
Wildcats up and throwing to Northwestern's Mike Schiller, who gets knocked down at the 30-yard line. And Frosted, isn't Schiller sponsored today by Prel Conditioner?
Yes, he is, Jim. Fourth down now. And the Wildcats pass to John DiNucci, who sprints 30 yards past the Hawks for a touchdown. What a play. But anybody can score a touchdown at Jan Splort Sporting Goods, featuring the best selection of Swedish fitness equipment in eastern Iowa.
The Wildcats kick their extra point, and so the Hawks will get the ball. And fans, you can have a ball shopping at the Come and Go, where you can pick up a free Hawkeye oven mitt with any yogurt purchase.
Now the Wildcats kick off to the Hawks, who receive it and get to the Black & Decker 45-yard line. Oh, but it looks like the Hawkeyes have an injury. Number 53, Cherry Westing, is being carried off with what looks like a serious back fracture.
Oh, this could be a crushing blow to the Hawkeye offense.
You know, Jim, my wife had a bad back injury. She couldn't stand, sit, or lie down for months. but she made it through somehow.
And that anecdote is a service of Jack Shellac Chiropractic Clinics, now with 6 convenient locations in Iowa City. Hawks still with the ball, and quarterback Schmidt hurls it down the field, and Iowa receiver, no, interception by DiNucci, who takes it and runs to the 30, the 20. Touchdown for the Wildcats. What a turnaround. Another 75 yards for DiNucci.
That makes him the true value player of the game, where for this week, DiNucci trading cards are just $1.73.
Listen to that crowd, brought to us today by General Motors.
Wildcats go for the extra point, and the kick is good, right through the Dubuque-Ham uprights.
And don't forget about the football, Frosted, loaned to us for promotional purposes by English Leather, for the man who wants to smell something like a football.
The befuddled Hawks are calling a timeout. So with the score, Wildcats 14, Hawkeyes nothing. We'll be back with more Hawkeye football after these messages.
Harlequin Romance on Tape presents a devastating saga of love at the end of time. Love at DEathCon 4, the abridged version. Written by Samantha Pennington and narrated by G. Gordon Liddy, with Joanne Worley and Rex Reason as the star-crossed lovers.
The red lights of DEFCON flash furiously as the hundreds of military personnel scurry through the corridors. She was there, turning the corner. A brilliant nuclear physicist, she had hundreds of files she carried in her arms containing her life's work. At the other end of the hall was him, the Lieutenant Sergeant Major General in charge of the base, marching in the opposite direction. They were destined to collide.
Oof! You idiot! What do you think you're doing? I've got to get these files to the silo before they launch our arsenal of freedom!
I'm terribly sorry. Here, let me help you. My, what beautiful, muddy brown eyes you have.
She fluttered her eyelashes. He raised an eyebrow. Their eyes met. Then suddenly, in a whirlwind of panic, he hungrily groped for her and she for him, their hands melting together in a radioactive lust. He drew her near. Their bodies pressed together, and they inflamed each other in a furious, all-encompassing passion not even the enemy could bring to a halt. They found themselves undressed, their uniforms at their feet. She gazed at his manhood, her eyes widening.
My! It's such a big missile you have!
Oh, Lord.
He moaned.
I never thought anything like this could happen on Judgment Day.
Suddenly, sensations flowed through her body like lava through an erupting volcano, until she could not contain herself any longer. And as she voiced her pleasure, the button was pressed, and America's glory flew high into the air.
This has been a Harlequin Romance on Tape. Enjoy one of our 250 titles, including Pet Sematary, read by Florence Henderson, and Hunt for the Red October, read by Pee Wee Herman.
There are 1 million volumes in the Naked Library. There are 2 million volumes out of the Naked Library. There are 1 million overdue. Before the library gets any more naked, onto the scene come the Library Police.
Hey man, I just got a great book from the library. Pilgrim's Progress by Bunyan.
Wow, dude, this book is perfect. It's just the right size to stick under the end table leg.
No, man, you mean the coffee table leg. The end table is a pile of books.
Oh no, I use those books to build the right wing on my scale model B-2 bomber.
Oh, that's cool, man. Who is it, and what do you want?
We're from the Church of Latter-day Saints, and we'd like to either talk to you or give you a free copy of The Watchtower.
Oh, how big is it?
All right, Sonny, Library Police. Nobody move, except you. Stand up straight. I'm Sergeant Bertha, and this is Sergeant Beulah.
We want the books. What books you talking about?
Specifically, call numbers DZ4013.R5 to PS9067.K3.
At a fine of a nickel a day times 103 days times 10,012 bucks equals an overdue charge of $51,561.80.
We don't have that kind of money.
We don't want to have to throw the book at you.
We don't really want the fine.
Just the books, Sonny.
Oh, here, just take them then.
Let's go, Beulah.
Another repeat offender brought to justice. I hope their mother never sees them like this.
Attention, car 23. We have another overdue at 9 Himdale Street. Over.
Roger, dispatch. We copy. Peel it, Beulah, but go slowly around those corners.
Tommy Johnson?
Yeah? Library police. We want green eggs and ham. This is a supermarket and runaway bunny.
I don't have... I give him to Nick Stevens. Yeah, it just so happens we've already contacted Master Stevens. Sergeant Bertha, go get Nicky.
Right, Beulah.
Nick, did Tommy Johnson give you Runaway Bunny and some other books?
Oh, I wanted to see him, but he wouldn't even let me look at him. We have others who corroborate Nick's story, Tommy.
You'll have to come with us, Johnson. You can call your mommy from the station. Wipe your nose. Book 'em, Bertha.
And thus closes another chapter in the saga of the Library Police. Repression Radio, the anti-family network.
You sound like a robot. Stretch it out more.
You're listening to Anti-Family Radio.
Is there still somebody out there who doesn't understand? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is KPUT, kput, a half hour of original comedy heard every other Friday night at 5:30 on KRUI 89.7 FM. And this is your brain after listening to KPUT. Any questions? Is there still somebody out there who doesn't understand? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is KPUT, kput, a half hour of original comedy heard every other Friday night at 5:30 on KRUI 89.7 FM. And this is your brain after listening to KPUT. Any questions?
This is Quinn Quigley reminding you that the concession stand is now closing and smoking is permitted only in the lobbies during the... What? Oh, sorry. This is Quinn Quigley reminding you that KPUT will be on the air this Friday night at 5:30. Join us for a half hour of humor from the Radio Comedy Class 90. Sit back and enjoy some quality entertainment this Friday. And remember, have a Coke and a snack. KPUT is heard exclusively on 89.7 FM, KRUI.
I'm Casey Kasem, here to tell you about a hot new collection of chart-busting singles, KPUT's greatest hits, including this one. This hit the top 40, shattered its hand, and was sent into the emergency ward for 3 months.
And if you just tuned in, you're listening to Elvis Talk. Call us locally at 555-KING, which is 555-5464, or 1-800-484-8484. That's 1-800-HA-HA-HA.
And back in 1990, this one hit the top 10, the top 10 kicked its shin, and the case is pending to this day.
Leave It to Quail, starring George Bushmont, Barbara Bushingley, Ollie North, and Jimmy Danforth as the Quail.
This collection available only on 8-track, 78 RPM LP, and cassette. To get your copy, send your name and address and $5 to this name and address and $5. K. Glenn Keenan, 402 6th Street, Apartment A-5, Coralville, Iowa, 52241. Or call toll-free 354-3765. That address again, K. Glenn Keenan, 402 6th Street, Apartment A5, Coralville, Iowa, 52241. Or call toll-free 354-3765. Order your copy of KPUT's Greatest Hits. Or, for dyslexics, KPUT's Greatest...
Meow Mix, the dog food made out of insufferable cats.
Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, I just want to say that when you mix up the word Elvis, you get the word lives. But you can also get the word veils, which is what people wear to funerals. Therefore, I believe Elvis is dead.
That's an interesting point. We've got another caller. Hello.
Listen, I don't want to talk about Elvis being dead or alive. You know, I want to talk about the fall of communism. Do you think it was caused by Elvis somehow?
We can only wonder. And if you just tuned in, you're listening to Elvis Talk. Call us locally at 555-KING, which is 555-5464, or 1-800-484-8484. That's 1-800-HA-HA-HA. Hello, Elvis Talk.
Yeah, some guy came into Arnold's Pizza the other day and ordered 57 peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Fried. And then he shot out on TV. You think it was Elvis?
Well, it's hard to say. We got another caller.
I think mixing up Elvis's given name to find out what he is or isn't is ludicrous. What's important are the backward messages he left in his last few hits. While listening to Suspicious Minds, I discovered that Elvis tells us where he is today. Here, just listen. Did you hear that? I think it's plain as day.
Thanks for calling. Hello, you're on the air.
We were watching an Elvis Film Festival last week on cable, and we have this blender that hadn't worked in ages, and during Blue Hawaii, when Elvis sang, all of a sudden it started whirring. My husband about fell off the divan. We were so happy we made a batch of Blue Hawaiians.
Well, thanks for the story. Hello, Elvis Talk.
I just want to say that I've been mixing up Elvis's full name as it appears on his gravestone for over 10 years, and I formed the words lives on as Al Yerper and lives on as Leper Ray.
Amazing. If there's anybody listening who knows of an Al Yerper or of a leper named Ray, please give us a call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, my name is Al Yerper, and I'm sick of all you weirdos bugging me. It's hard enough being Elvis incognito without a bunch of crazies calling me and following me around.
Sorry, Al. Hello, Elvis Talk.
Oh, hello. I'm a leper named Dave, and I know a leper named Ray, and he's not Elvis. In fact, I don't know any lepers who are Elvis, so leave us alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Hello, Elvis Talk.
Hi, I recently purchased a black velvet painting of Elvis on a crucifix, and his eyes follow you wherever you go. Lately, I've noticed that his upper lip seems to quiver too. Now, is it supposed to do that, or can this be recognized as a miracle by the Catholic Church?
Buddy, you're insane. I think you need some serious medical attention.
What? No, wait a minute. Now his thigh also...
Get the hell off the air here. What are you doing?
Non sequitur man. He's bold, he's daring, he's sexy. Some people think he's retarded, others think he isn't even there. But whatever the danger, he's non sequitur man. Tonight's episode, The Dinner Party.
We will return to Non Sequitur Man after this brief message.
Hello, I'm Darryl Buchanugan, president of Cottonette Manufacturing Company Limited of America Incorporated. Did you know that in some countries, people don't eat with their left hands? And it's not just because they're right-handed. Of course, many of these people don't eat with their right hands either. But do you know why they don't eat with their left hands? It's because their countries don't have toilet paper. And did you know that in the Soviet Union, they use toilet paper that's more like the paper we use for grocery bags? That is, when they can get toilet paper. I suppose they don't really need to make grocery bags anyway. Even the French don't have decent toilet paper. After they're done wiping, they have to sit in a sink and hose their butts off. That's why I'm proud to live in America, where the people are red-blooded, white-stomached, and blue-haired. And especially proud to be able to use and produce quality Cottonette toilet paper. At Cottonette, our motto is, Americans won't take crap, so we will.
Hello, I'm Darren Buchanugan, no relation, and I'm in charge of research and development here at Cottonette Manufacturing. In R&D, we create and experiment with new and better kinds of toilet paper, or TP as we call it. But at Cottonette R&D, we always go one step further. E.g., you may have seen other brands in your store which claim to be 100% recycled. Well, at Cottonette, we're even more environmentally conscious. We've created a TP which is really 100% recycled. Recycled used toilet paper, that is. And you may have also seen other brands which contain lotions for softness. Once again, we go the extra mile and have even created TP with ointments for rashes and hemorrhoids. We're even experimenting with something new called hypoallergenic toilet paper, i.e. no dyes, perfumes, or lotions, just 100% natural TP. At Continent, our motto is, when you have a BM, stick us in your A.
Hello, I'm Inspector 37, one of the many people who personally test each and every roll of Continent toilet paper. In our testing labs, we make sure that every roll of Continent has just the right amount of softness with the most durability. First, each roll is tested for softness by stuffing it into the clothing of children who then undergo a rigorous battery of tests, and I do mean battery. Next, we test each roll for durability by using trained laboratory monkeys with butts even hairier than our own. Afterwards, the rolls are packaged and then squeezed by housewives and storekeepers with toilet paper fetishes. And then, finally, it comes to me, Inspector 37. Now, to me, this toilet paper says Continent, and so I say it says Continent. It doesn't say Continent until I say it says Continent, and I don't say it says Continent until it says Continent to me. At Continent, our motto is, quality is job one, especially when it's for number 2.
Hello, I'm Steve 37, no relation, and I'm one of the hundreds of people and dozens of Steve who are proud to make Continent toilet paper. And one of the thousands who simply make Continent toilet paper. I'm proud because I work for a company where I'm not just a number, I'm a name and a number. And I'm proud because I live and work in a free country and free market where everything costs. And where every one of us is able to live and work hard to earn money. To live, to work hard, to earn money, to live on and on until we die. And where every one of us works together to compete against each other for business and promotions. At Continent, our motto is, we're wiping up the competition.
Look for the union label when you are buying a roll of TP. Always remember our union workers who are not shirkers or work for free. They do their jobs and get paid for making TP. They do have taxes, bills, and union dues to pay. So always look for the union label. It says we're able to make it better in your way.
We now return to Non Sequitur Man.
Non Sequitur Man. He's bold, he's daring, he's sexy. Some people think he's retarded, others think he isn't even there. But whatever the danger, he's Non Sequitur Man. Tonight's episode, The Dinner Party.
Now, I was talking to Rupert, and he told me that you're into oil. Tell me, are you wholesale or retail?
I have a cat. Tune in next week for another exciting adventure with Non Sequitur Man.
We will return to our commercial messages after this brief program.
Now we finally go to the debate between Senator Blatt Krindinkle and his challenger, Clem Laboche.
Mr. Krindinkle, would you care to comment on your nebulous position regarding taxes toward, or more specifically from, the elderly? Do you support the view upheld by Senator Johnson of Arkansas, who stated quite decidedly that since septuagenarians and such lack the same output capital as others, they should be taxed in a manner more merciful at best, a statement criticized by the right as well-meaning but prejudiced and harmful in the long run?
Yes.
Come on, Krindinkle. Don't evade the question. Try giving a straight answer.
Senator, what's your stance on equal employment?
I believe that the number of jobs should equal the number of people holding those jobs.
Thank you. The next question is for you, Mr. Laboche. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Big.
All right, Senator Krindinkle, what's your idea of a good place to take a date on your second night together?
First of all, let me say that in light of recent events, we as Americans have to reconsider our options or pay the piper. What we are seeing now is a country in rapid flux, and we must keep the valuable lessons of the past in mind as we look toward the promise of the future. Does that answer your question?
Actually, it does, in sort of a weird way.
So what time do you want me to pick you up?
After 9, maybe.
Excuse me, can we get back to the debate? Come on, ask me some questions.
Okay. So, Clem, where are you from?
Oh, you think you can word the question cleverly, so I'll talk myself into a trap. Well, it's not going to work.
Fine, be that way.
I'll be whatever way I damn well please, asshole.
Are we finished? Can I go now?
Would you sit down?
I do have a few more questions, Governor.
What else is there? Haven't you found out everything?
What's the matter, Krindinkle? Run out of cue cards?
Oh, real funny. I'm not going to say what I was going to say about you.
Isn't it dangerous for you to be engaging in a battle of wits, Krindinkle?
Stop it!
Could both of you please shut up so we can finish this debate? Mr. Laboche, what's your stance on capital punishment?
Well, I think we should punish as many people in the capital as we can. Everyone in Washington is just a lying, cheating, crooked shark out to skin the average Joe alive. But if you send me to the nation's capital, I'll paddle their naughty fingers.
Okay, Senator Krindinkle, clarify for us your position on prayer in schools.
I think we should all pray for our schools so they need all the help they can get.
Listen to him. He doesn't even know the difference between gun control and birth control.
There's a difference?
Governor, if you could save time in a bottle, what's the first thing that you'd like to do?
Speaking from the Republican standpoint, I'd save every day till eternity passes away and spend them with you.
Does that smell you, Krindinkle?
Mr. LaBoche, from day one, your campaign has been a mindless orgasm of mudslinging and slander. Would you care to comment?
Well, how can a man resist flinging mud at that disgusting backward mockery of all that is noble in humanity? If you want to know why I call Mr. Krindinkle names, just look at the freakish slob. Well, he's a place marker where a man should be. Oh, I hate him. I despise him. He is filth. Rot, decay, and I love him. That's right, Krindinkle. I'm burning for you, and I can't live without your cruel kiss. Haven't you realized that my hostility has been a cover for my earth-shattering affection? Do you know how many nights I've lain awake in a cold sweat, wanting nothing else in the world but the feel of your flesh alongside mine, two hearts pounding together forever? I can't stand this 1 second longer. Krindinkle, let's leave this lame rat race right now and take off for the sunny paradise that awaits us in Aruba.
Well, okay.
Wait, where are you two going? Hold it. I have a couple of questions left.
Tonight on Naked Net, Silent Green Acres.